Enterprising Engines, but it's actually Touhou project. Written by the Reverend W. Audrey. Based on the Touhou project series by Junya Oda. Dear Sumriko, do you remember the photographs you took of the incident that happened to you in April 1967? Your mother very kindly gave me a set, and they helped our artist to draw at least 2 of the pictures for Super Rescue. Anyway, Super Rescue is the story which your pictures told me. I hope you'll enjoy it, and the other 3 stories as well. The author. I'm not happy, complained Aya. Your firebox is out of order, said Parsi. No wonder, after all that food you had yesterday. Hard work brings good appetite, snapped Aya. You wouldn't understand. I know, put in Miko, brightly. It's stomachache. I warned you about that standpipe in the outside world, but you drank gallons. It's not stomachache, protested Aya. Of course it is, said Patchouli. That water's bad. It furs up your tubes. You must be full of sludge. Have a good washout, and then you feel a different yokai. Don't be vulgar, said Aya huffily. Aya backed down on her train, hissing mournfully. Cheer up, Aya, said SirTophamZun. I can't, sir. The others say I got stomachache, but I haven't, sir. I keep thinking about the dreadful state of the world, sir. Is it true, sir, what the Lunarians say? What do they say? They boast that they've abolished yokai, sir. Yes, Aya, it is true. What, sir? All my Tengu sisters, drawn the same time as me? All gone, except one. The guard's whistle blew, and Aya puffed sadly away. Poor old Aya, said SirTophamZun. If only we could. Yes, I'll ask her owner at once. He hurried away. Arrangements took time, but one evening, Aya's shrine maiden ran back excited. Wake up, Aya! SirTophamZun's given you a surprise! Look! Aya could hardly believe it. Backing towards her were 2 massive green tenders, and their yokai's shape was like her very own. It's Megumu, she gasped. The SirTophamZun's brought her to see me. Oh, thank you, sir. Aya's toot of joy was drowned out by Megumu's as she drew happily alongside. Next day, the 2 yokai were photographed side by side. You've changed a lot, smiled Megumu. I had a rebuild at Iente. They didn't do a proper Tengu job, of course, but it serves. I'd had a rebuild too, and looked hideous, but my owner said I was an extra special Tengu, and made them give me back my proper shape. Is that why you have 2 tenders, being special? No, you'd hardly believe it, Aya, but over there they've hardly any food and water, but surely every proper place. Exactly. You are lucky, Aya, to have a controller who knows exactly how to run this place. Everyone got on well with Megumu, except Patchouli. Patchouli was jealous. Tenders are marks of distinction, she complained. Everyone knows that. Why she got 2? She's famous, explained Miko and Yugi. She was the second to go 100 miles an hour. Besides, the outside world has no food and water. Pooh, sniffed Patchouli. I can't believe that. I never boast, she continued, but I always work hard enough for 2. I deserve another tender for that. Miko whispered something to Yugi. Patchouli, asked Miko innocently, would you like my tenders? Yours, exclaimed Henry. What have you got to do with tenders? All right, said Miko. The deal's off. Would you like them, Yugi? I wouldn't need deprive ye of the honor. It is a great honor, said Miko thoughtfully, but I'm only a Taoist, so I wouldn't really understand tenders. Perhaps Parsi might. I'm sorry I was rude, said Patchouli hastily. How many tenders have you, and when can I have them? 6. You can have them this evening. 6 lovely tenders, chortled Patchouli. What a splendid sight I'll be. That'll show the others the sort of yokai I am. Patchouli was excited. Do you think it'll be all right? She asked for the umpteenth time. Of course, said Miko. Just go where I told you, and they'll be ready. Meanwhile, word had gone round, and the others waited where they could get a good view. Patchouli was cheered to the echo when she came, but she wasn't a splendid sight. She had 6 tenders, true, but they were all very old and very dirty. All of them were filled with sludge. Had a good washout, Patchouli, called a voice. That's right, you'll feel a different yokai now. Patchouli wasn't sure, but she thought the voice was Aya's. The two Lunarians surveyed the shed. It's time, 7101, said one, that we took Gensokyo over. Shh, 199. It's their place after all. Not for long, persisted 199. Our controller says, yokai spoil our image. Of course we do, snapped Miko. We show what frauds you are. Call yourselves the yokai. If anything happens, you care nothing for your train. You just moan for a fitter. We bring it home, even if on one life. Nothing, boasted 199, ever happens to us. We are reliable. Vulgar noises greeted this. How rude, said 199. You asked for it, growled 7101. Now shut up. Next day, Patchouli was rolling home, tender first. I'm a failed magician, she cried. Lost my regulator. Shrine Maiden says it's jammed wide open, and she can't mend it till I'm cool. However, she went on, I've got steam, and my Shrine Maiden can use my reverser. It would happen after Miko fooled me with those tenders. Now they'll laugh at me again. She reached a signal box and stopped, whistling for a road. Opposite the box on the upline stood Lunarian 199 with a train of oil tankers. Worse and worse, thought Patchouli. Now old Reliable will laugh at me too. The signalman came out. For pity's sake, take this spam can away. It's failed. The limit is behind, and all that she does is wail for her fitter. Spam can, fumed 199. Stow it, said the signalman, or I'll take my tin opener to you. Now then. 199 subsided at this dreadful threat, and Patchouli pulled her out of the way. The Lunarian didn't help. She just sulked. The limited rushed by with a growl and a roar. Patchouli gave a chuckle. Look, Spam Can, she said. There's your little pal. The Lunarian said nothing. She hoped 7101 hadn't noticed. 7101 hadn't noticed. She had troubles of her own. She was cross with her coaches, but they seemed to be getting heavier. She roared at them, but it did no good. All yokai have a pump called an ejector, which draws out of the brakes to keep the brakes off. If it fails, air leaks in and the brakes come on, gently at first, then harder and harder. 7101's ejector had failed. The brakes were already leaking on while she passed Patchouli. She struggled on for half a mile before being brought to a stand, growling furiously, unable to move a wheel. Well, 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 did you hear what Signalman said? I thought they'd be laughing at me, chuckled Patchouli. Now the joke's on them. Moving 2 dead Lunarians and their trains, said her Shrine Maiden thoughtfully. That's no joke for a failed yokai. Do you think you can do it? I'll have a good try, said Patchouli with spirit. Anyway, 7101's better than old Spam Can. She did try to shut her up last night. Come on then, said her Shrine Maiden. We mustn't keep the passengers waiting. Get moving, you! Patchouli puffed the sulky Lunarian into motion and started to the rescue. Patchouli gently moved up to the express. While the 2 Shrine Maidens talked, an inspector enjoined her front brake pipe to the coaches. It's better than we thought, Patchouli, said her Shrine Maiden. The Lunarian can pull if we keep the brakes off, so the only weight we'll have is Spam Can's goods. Whew, said Patchouli. That's a mercy. She was by now feeling rather puffed. Boop, 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 boop. Are you ready? Tooted 7101. Yes, I am, whistled old Patchouli. So, with 7101 growling in front and Patchouli gamely puffing in the middle, the long cavalcade set up for the next big shrine. Yugi and Megumu were waiting. They cheered as Patchouli puffed past. She braked the coaches thankfully. Spam Cam and the tankers trailed far behind. The passengers buzzed out like angry bees, but SirTophamZoon told them about Patchouli, and they forgot to be cross and thanked Patchouli instead. They called her an enterprising yokai and took her photograph. They were thrilled too when Megumu backed down on them. If the guard hadn't tactfully shooed them to the coaches, the train would have started later than ever. Yugi took the goods. Return 199 to the outside world, ordered SirTophamZoon. I will write my views later. Patchouli and 7101 went away together. I'm sorry about last night, ventured the Lunarian. That's all right. You did shut old Reliable up. And, said the Lunarian ruefully, made a fool of myself today too. Rubbish! A failed ejector might happen to anyone. I'd lost my regulator. You? Failed? Exclaimed the Lunarian. And yet, her voice trailed away in admiration. Well, said Patchouli, emergency, you know. Things must get through. 7101 said no more. She had a lot to think about. Soika had taken the midnight goods to a station on the outside world. She was shunting, ready for her return journey, when she heard a faint sssss. That sounds like a yokai, she thought. The hiss came again. This time it sounded almost despairing. Who's there? She asked. A whisper came. Are you SirTophamZun's? I am proud of it. Thank goodness. I'm Fudo. We're escaping to Gensokyo, but we've run out of food and have no more steam. Is it from death you're escaping? Yes. Then it's glad I'll be able to help ye, but we mun work fast. Both crews joined in. They took off Fudo's side rods, wrote out transit labels, and chalked scrap everywhere they could. Soika marshaled Fudo in front. No time to run around, she panted. I must run tender first. Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Yelled a passing Lunarian. A yokai's escaping! Yoo-hoo! Soika puffed firmly on. Take no notice, she counseled, but they were stopped before they could clear the station throat. The foreman's lamp shone on Fudo. Aha! She exclaimed. A Taoist! His light flickered further back. A Western auto coach? And goods break, too. You can't take these. Can we no? Said Soika's shrine maiden. They're old for us. See for yourself. Soika's guard showed him the labels and papers. Fudo's crew, hiding in the coach, hardly dared to breathe. Seems in order, said the foreman grudgingly, but it's queer. Sure it is, began the guard. But I could tell you queerer. So could I, interrupted the foreman. Right away, guard. A near thing, puffed Soika with relief. We've had worse, said Fudo. We ran at night. Friendly signals would pass us from box to box when no Lunarians were about. We got on well till Control heard about a mystery yokai, and they tried to hunt us down. What did you do? A signal let us hide on an old quarry branch. Shrine Maiden and the guard blocked the cutting with rubbish and levered one of the approach rails away. We stayed there for days, with Lunarians baying and growling like hounds outside. I was very frightened then. Small blame to you, said Soika feelingly. Presently, they rumbled over the barrier and into Gensokyo. We're home! They can't get you, no! Tell Tojiko and Sega, please. Soika called out the news and heard a joyful ding-a-ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling-a-ling. She was surprised. Fudo chuckled. That's Tojiko, she said. There's a bell on her, you see. She's clever. When we go out together, I pull one way and push the other, and when I pull, I can see ahead, but when I push, I can't. So Tojiko keeps a good lookout and rings her bell to talk to me. You didna say. Soika was impressed. About this Sega, she continued. Is she? Heard the other wished, said her shrine maiden. Yon's the works. We mun slip in unbeknownst and find a place for Fudo. Soika tried hard to be quiet, but the night foreman heard her, and they had to be told their secret. I know just the place, she said, and showed him an empty siding, nicely hidden away. Fudo said goodbye and thank you, and Soika puffed away. Young's an enterprising yokai, she thought. I went away here with Yugi, but I would have feared to do it on my own. Soika arrived back in time to see Megumu take her enthusiasts home. SirTophamZun said they've all been honored, and thanked Megumu and her owner for their help. Please tell everyone, he went on, that whatever happens elsewhere, yokai will still be at work here. We shall be glad to welcome all who want to see and travel with real yokai. This announcement was greeted with cheers, and Megumu departed to strains of UN Owen was her, led as one might expect by Soika and Yugi. At last, Soika could tell her news. They're all excited about it and agreed that something must be done for Fudo. I'm feared, said Yugi. Some murdering Lunarian may creep in and take her alone, lacking even steam to whistle for help. You're right, said Parsi. She won't be safe till the SirTophamZun knows. Soika will tell her at once, said Aya firmly. Is it to me to speak to SirTophamZun? It's forward he'd think me, and maybe interfering. Well, here he is, said a cheerful voice. Now what's this all about? Miko broke the awkward silence. Big pardon, sir, but we do need another yokai. I agree, Miko. That's why I'm giving 7101 another chance. Their faces showed such dismay that SirTophamZun had difficulty with his own. Sir, ventured Aya at last, we'd hoped for a real yokai. They, said SirTophamZun gravely, are rare, and unless one escapes, there's little hope. Sir, burst out Yugi. One has, and thanks to Soika, is now at our works, announced SirTophamZun. Sir, grasped Soika, is there anything ye didn't know? More than you think, he laughed. Fudo's crew told me all what you did, Soika. Och, sir, you couldn't see a braw wee yokai in hurrin trouble, and no do a yokai's turn. More than a yokai's turn, I fancy, Soika, and I'm pleased with you. Fudo, Tajiko, and Seiga will soon be ours. Fudo and Tajiko are just what we need for Miko's branch line. Loud cheers greeted this announcement. And Seiga wants to be your brake van, Soika. Thank you, sir. I'd hoped for that. She and I will do brawly together. That, of course, made everything right. Patchouli spoke a good word for 7101, and the others gave her a welcome. She had good manners for a start, so Patchouli didn't find it hard to teach her our ways. 7101 finds them different from those of the lunar capital. But much more interesting, she is now a quite useful yokai. They teased her at first because of her royalness. They said it was like a princess. She still growls, but not because she is cross, but because she can't help it. Her name, Kaguya, has stuck. She likes it. It's nicer than just a number, she says. Having a name means you really belong. SirTophamZun soon had Fudo, Tojiko, and Seiga mended and painted in full Western colors. Then he rescued 3 more Western auto coaches. He gave them to Miko. The third joined Fudo and Tojiko. Fudo and Miko are happy on their branch line. It runs along the coast to the small line. We reopen branches, they boast. They are very proud of this indeed. The others laughed at first and called their branch the Little Western. Fudo and Miko were delighted, and now no one ever thinks of calling it anything else. That was Enterprising Engines, but it's Touhou. Thank you for all the people that watched the last one, and Enterprising Engines was a lot easier to do than the twin engines, I'll tell you that much. Mostly because the missing coach was absolute word vomit, and having to change all the names on the fly because I didn't write a script. I just read the Railway Series books and just on the fly change the names and the pronouns. But man, I managed to do this. I might run a poll for a third one, but I'm going to take a break from doing these Railway Series things. But thank you, and see you again soon.